So with Man United, there's a lot of people now saying they're blaming the Glazers. They're already calling for Ten Hag to get out. There's been so much hassle with Anthony, with Mason Greenwood, which we brought up actually at the time we were live on air when it was all breaking news that Sunday on the radio. We played the a couple of weeks ago with Andrew. We played the audio. We showed it's just like a lot of we've broadcast. One thing I brought up was that in terms of United, the owners won't actually see this as, say, the Middle Eastern owners of Man City, where, oh, this is really bad for society, this should be stamped out. The American owners will be thinking the same as with Liverpool, when one of their players was done for doping, they're like, oh, well, he's an asset, so let's just make it quiet. Because in American sports,
You
NHL,
still want to get
NFL,
the benefit for the player because they're still
yeah, because you get like too much ban, which is huge in NFL, for
yeah.
example, huge. So is it a case that fans just, and the media, of course, we know the media are hyping up as well. Is it a case that they just need something to write about, and Man United is the favoured whipping boy at this moment?
Well, I think it's a mixture of a number of things. It's the way Man United dealt with things like the Greenwood situation. It's how they haven't really said what they're going to do with Anthony. It's the way the Glazers and the media group that are in there deal with these things makes it easy for fans to be obviously overly annoyed by, not overly annoyed, but they're very vocal. You fans who are turning up at games with obviously their Glazers out, they're doing protests. And then you also have high profile pundits who are ex players and who have a vested interest in how United do, who are happy to call out the way things are being run there. And it's about the running. The interesting thing is there doesn't seem to be any differentiation in how obviously the performance against Brighton are a solid squad, solid team this year, but there seems to be, we've now got to a stage where people are just discussing one thing. They're discussing United as a whole. The performance has morphed into the Glazers and the running of the club, in the sense that there's no differentiation. People are going, oh, well, we need to get the Glazers out. Like, Ten Hag, on the other hand, has barely had the time to build an actual sustainable plan for a team. Like, if you're just going to get rid of a manager continually, you're never going to build any consistency. Have we not seen what has happened with Chelsea? Like, Chelsea have to basically every now and then, obviously they've got Poch now, but their solution has been bring back something that worked, because we have to have long enough with someone otherwise. And their ownership wasn't a fan of that. Consistency is huge. And I think the difficulty is, until the Glazers sell and leave United, we won't know if it's the team that are a basket case solely, or if it's the ownership solely, or if it's a combination of the two. Because basically, until you get rid of one part of it, you can't know what the full issue is. If you keep getting rid of managers, then you just go, okay, Glazers are the problem. But if you get rid of the Glazers, then you go, oh, was it all along them? Or is it something more fundamental with the way players are being brought in, with the way the team has been coached, with the way the team has been set up? It's gone on for so long now that you actually need to see what the real issue is. And I think that's the problem. It's overhyped in the media because it's Man United. It's a global commodity. Like, there are lots of other basket case clubs, Everton. They're thankfully, getting some new owners. It's going to be great. It's all going to be very rosy. Their stadium finalisation, I think, has been pushed back a bit. But by the same token, it's been, yes, the ownership have had questions about them, but there's also been questions about managers to an extent. But with United, I don't think we know fully if, like, you just need to get rid of the Glazers, in the sense of, I'm very happy for United to keep the Glazers forever. I would be very pleased with that. But as in, it takes away that excuse, if that makes sense. You can't always go, oh, that's the fault. Well, once you get rid of the Glazers, you will see what the real issue is. You're back to being able to assess it properly. And I do feel for United fans, because I do feel that there's been this sense that this is an ongoing cloud over them. And they're owners who don't want to invest. They don't want to make the improvements that are needed. But also, there are very few teams that have pundits in such high profile positions who are able to constantly go, oh, United's training ground, it needs to be upgraded. Like, you don't see someone on every week going, you know what, okay, well, Tottenham have a great setup, so maybe they're not a good example. But you don't see someone on every week going, actually, Brighton need an improvement. Like, there's not that same level of exposure.
Look, you're right, and I mean we do know that they have like with Gary Neville and Roy Keane, two of the biggest mouths in football and in sports media. So basically, their voices are heard, and also as well, we as has been sort of revealed, the Daily Mail that came out to say that the Glazers, which didn't turn out to be true, that they were not going to sell, they had pulled out and they changed all the stuff around, was being pushed out by a journalist who is writing the biography for Jim Ratcliffe. They sank the share price down, and Ratcliffe now is trying to buy it on the cheap. So there's so much going on around this, and of course, paper never refused ink. United are a great team to write about. Even when they were crap in the 80s, I remember being in London with my parents and hearing about Ferguson, they could be getting rid of him, could be getting rid of him, they could be getting fired. Okay, they won the FA Cup, then they went on to win the European Cup Winners' Cup. So is Ten Hag good? I don't know. Another thing as well, which is being covered up as well, which has not been spoken about, Ten Hag's links with Jumbo Visma. So anyone watching this, have a look at him and Jumbo Visma, their training methods, what they use, what they do. It's very interesting. And yeah, I think it's sort of like they escaped Red Bull and, then. So look, on that note, we are going to